Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving straight into what is arguably one of the most dramatic, terrifying, but honestly, absolutely fascinating stories in human history. We're going to break down the sudden, catastrophic destruction of the ancient city of Pompeii.
Just imagine for a second, what if your entire city just vanished overnight? Seriously, think about it. You wake up on a perfectly normal Tuesday morning, you look outside, streets are bustling, merchants are selling their stuff, kids are playing out in the courtyards, everything is just totally normal. You have absolutely no idea it's your city's last day on Earth.
Well, that's exactly what happened here. Within just a few hours, an entire thriving city disappeared completely beneath a deadly cloud of ash and fire. Thousands of people were trapped literally where they stood. Massive stone buildings just completely collapsed under the sheer weight of the sky falling on them. In a blink, we're talking about one of history's greatest tragedies unfolding right there.
All right, let's get into Section 1, Life in Ancient Pompeii, a thriving Roman city.
So to really wrap our heads around the massive scale of this tragedy, we kind of have to look at the vibrant world they lost. Let's wind the clock back almost 2,000 years. Pompeii was incredibly wealthy. Sitting right near the beautiful Bay of Naples in modern-day Italy, it was this booming hub for merchants, farmers, craftsmen, you name it. The people there lived a super comfortable lifestyle. We're talking gorgeous villas, massive public baths, theaters, bustling markets, the whole shebang. But there was a catch. All of this luxury, this peaceful day-to-day life, was happening literally right next to Mount Vesuvius, which happens to be one of the most dangerous volcanoes in Europe. And the ultimate tragic irony here? The folks living there had no clue they were sitting right next to a ticking time bomb.
Which brings us to Section 2, the warning signs, ignored tremors.
You know, the craziest part is the Earth actually tried to warn them. Years before the big disaster, the historical record shows these really weird, unsettling things started happening. Small earthquakes were shaking the region, and not just once in a while, but with alarming regularity. Buildings started getting unexplained structural damage. Even the animals started acting super strange, almost like they sensed something was deeply wrong right beneath their feet. Basically, the pressure inside Mount Vesuvius was building up to a completely catastrophic level, but people just ignored it.
Here's the kicker. In a quote that really hits the nail on the head, earthquakes were common in the area. No one understood that these tremors were signs of a growing catastrophe beneath the Earth. Because minor tremors were just, a completely normal part of everyday life around the Bay of Naples, everyone totally missed the giant imminent explosion that was literally brewing right under them. They basically just normalized the warning signs until it was way too late.
Moving on to Section 3, the deadly eruption, August 24th, AD 79.
All right, this is the terrifying climax. Let's just trace how insanely fast this all escalated. So morning hits, and Mount Vesuvius erupts with this unimaginable force, blasting a huge column of ash, toxic gas, and rock way up into the sky. By the afternoon, absolute pitch darkness covers the whole region, and ash starts falling like snow, just relentlessly blanketing every single thing. Now, some people saw how fast this was escalating and ran for their lives. But tragically, so many others stayed. They locked themselves in their homes, probably hoping it would all just blow over. But it absolutely didn't. Minutes later, the real killer arrives as these deadly, dark clouds rush down the mountainside.
So what exactly were those clouds? They're called pyroclastic flows. Basically, these are deadly waves of superheated gas and volcanic debris that just tear down a mountain at speeds you honestly can't even outrun. These flows hit Pompeii in minutes, and the temperatures inside these clouds were so extreme, so instantly lethal, that survival was simply impossible. No way around it. It's just a totally heartbreaking reality. Thousands of people perished. That thriving, vibrant Roman city we were just talking about, it just ceased to exist. It completely disappeared beneath meters and meters of suffocating ash. And then, total silence fell over what used to be one of the empire's greatest hubs.
Section 4, Lost for Centuries, the Hidden City.
1,700 years. Just let that sink in. That is the massive amount of time Pompeii just simply vanished from human memory. Over the centuries, people totally forgot exactly where it even was. The ash hardened up, dirt covered it, and eventually new fields and even whole new villages popped up right on top of the graves of the fallen. For nearly 1,700 years, Pompeii's exact location was a complete secret, sitting silently right there in the ground. But, history has a way of rising back up to the surface. Fast forward to the 18th century, and some workers digging around accidentally hit some ancient ruins.
It wasn't even like a big, targeted archaeological dig at first. It was literally pure chance. But that total accident led researchers to an unbelievable realization. They didn't just stumble on some old pillars. They found an entire Roman city preserved almost exactly how it looked on the exact day the volcano blew. Which takes us to Section 5, a city frozen, the archaeological miracle.
It's honestly the most incredible twist of fate. As researchers noted, the volcanic ash acted like a protective blanket. So the exact same thing that violently destroyed the city is the exact thing that preserved it for us. That super thick blanket protected the buildings from weather, it saved delicate murals and artwork, it kept the cobblestone streets looking pristine, and, this is crazy, it even preserved their food. Archaeologists were finding houses with wooden furniture still perfectly intact inside. Just amazing.
And here's why this is an absolute game changer for history. We're talking about incredibly intact public spaces, bakeries, huge temples, little local shops. But we also got this super intimate look into their private lives, right? Their actual homes, their furniture, art, even the meals they left on the table. This level of detail completely changed how we understand the ancient Roman world. We weren't just reading dusty old records about kings and wars anymore. Because of Pompeii, we could actually see exactly how everyday, ordinary people lived, worked, and ate almost 2 millennia ago.
But I gotta say, the most shocking, truly visceral discovery came from the victims themselves, through this really fascinating, kind of technical process. So step 1. Over centuries, the victims' bodies naturally decomposed beneath that super hard ash. Step 2. This actually left these perfectly body-shaped empty pockets right there in the ash layer. Step 3. Some totally brilliant archaeologists realized, hey, we can pour liquid plaster right into these empty spaces. And then step 4, when the plaster hardened and they chipped the ash away, it revealed these incredibly detailed casts of the victims' final tragic moments. These haunting figures give us this direct, emotional connection to the past that you literally cannot find anywhere else in history.
Yet the lessons we take from Pompeii, they aren't just stuck in the history books. Today, Mount Vesuvius is still a very active volcano. And what's even crazier is that millions of people live in the immediate area right now. Nature's immense power isn't just an ancient problem. Vesuvius is, in a very real way, still a ticking time bomb.
So, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Mount Vesuvius is still fully active today. So, are we really prepared for when history repeats itself? It's a pretty chilling question, for sure. But understanding our past is absolutely our best tool for facing the future. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I really hope you found this deep dive into Pompeii just as absolutely fascinating as I do. Keep asking questions, stay curious, and keep on learning.